call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now today we will take a look at a store exclusive from McFarlane. Now this is basically just a repaint of a previously released figure, the Unchained Superman in armor. Now the good thing about this is a McFarlane toy store exclusive. So basically, if you do not want this figure or this does not interest you, then there's no need for you to go out and pick this figure up. You do have to order it straight from the store. Now me, being a psycho completist, I must have at least one of each figure released by McFarlane. So this one is definitely a no-brainer for me, but it does not necessarily mean that everybody needs to go out and pick this figure up. Although it is a little bit eye-catching and it does look pretty good next to the previous released figures. Now we will be taking a look at the Patina version of this figure. Basically that just means like a weathered or aged look. This is like a hue that gets onto metals, basically turning real shiny copper like a greenish color, or brass. It gives it like that dirty oxidated look. So in this figure everything will be about the paint, but we will take a closer look at it. But first, he does come not with your standard black DC Multiverse stand, but he does come with a gray colored stand with a Superman shield imprinted on it. Really nice. It has a little lifted feel to it, and it is a nice red color. Pretty cool. Now we won't add this one to the giant mound of stands that I have in front of me, but we'll hold on to this one. He also comes with his data file card. On the front you do have an image of the painted figure. Does say Panini edition on there. And on the back you do have some information, but more about the exclusivity of this figure and the number. I did get the number 2692. So each card will show you which figure you received from the way they were manufactured. Pretty cool. He also comes with one of these card stands. Now we did see this with the King Shark figure. That was a gold painted version. This one does have that same grayish gunmetal color and some, I want to say, kind of auburn metallic red. You know, a little bit deeper red than just your basic red, but it does have a metallic hue to it. Hold on to these parts as well. And then of course he does come with his wings that are articulated. Now these as well, they kind of just look like gun parts, honestly. One thing I did notice is that on the previously released versions, the wings, they're not really soft, they're kind of stiff, so they don't like twist at all or have a lot of bend to them. But these are a little bit softer and you can like twist them because the plastic that they're made from is just a little bit softer, I think, than the previously released versions, because I don't really remember them feeling so pliable in your hand. But they do have that nice paint job and cool accessory to the figure. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at them. First impressions. Now honestly, as I said before, this is just a different paint job, but it is a really nice looking figure. You got that metallic red, that weathered red. It just gives it a different feel. You got that gray underneath, so the red really contrasts with that and sticks out to your eye. So all in all, beautifully painted figure, but we have seen this before. But first impressions, I mean, to add them to the shelf and put them next to the other armors, I mean, I bought that energized version of this figure, so I have no shame in adding this one to the shelf. Now, the box that I received this in was a little bit banged up, but honestly, to me, it's not a big deal because McFarlane did show images of the gold label Flash from the Flash film. So since I'm going to be ordering one of those, I'll probably add on another one of these to keep in box in my complete DC Multiverse unopened collection. So no worries, I will be getting probably another one of these. And this one will go on my display shelf. Let's take a look at the head. Now, same thing, we've seen this head sculpt before, but this one does have that added feature of paint, weathered. You get that Pataki feel in there, like it's aged or been through some wars. So this is basically just like a novelty figure. Don't expect everyone to go out and buy this one, but like I said, for me, this is a must-have. I'm sure a lot of people will not be running out there to get this figure, but I definitely need this. Now, let's run through the articulation really quick because we have seen this before, but you can look down. Could look up as well, pretty nicely. You got right to left, and you can tilt his head for some character. Moving down, you got that S shield. Now that one does have some nice weathering. I think that's one of the main things from these deluxe figures that McFarlane's going to be releasing is they're going to have a little bit, just a little bit better paint. I mean, I wouldn't expect too much from it. Please do not get your hopes up and think that the deluxe figures that McFarlane has announced are going to be like way out of this world. I do expect them to be a little bit nicer and maybe have a couple more accessories, but just, don't get your hopes up. It's pretty cool paint. It all ties in and looks really good. Let's take a look at the waist articulation. You do have side to side. You have that tilt-a-whirl. You got lower waist swivel, upper chest swivel. You can twist him, get him in some action poses. He does actually look really good. The sculpt remains, constant. He actually does have a crunch, which is rather surprising. It's not too much, but you could see where it collapses down upon itself. Pretty nice. And then, of course, you can lean him back and get him in some flight poses. Let's take a look at the shoulders. He does have that traditional socket and bushing joint from McFarlane, giving you some good range, and actually it moves around pretty nicely. You got a bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, but that's because this is an armored figure. And sometimes when you add the other joint, it kind of looks a little bit separated and clunky, and it's fine. It looks good. Moving down the shoulder, I love this design. The way the shoulder has like this armor accent, and when you move it, it actually swivels around the shoulder. That's really nice. Going down into that forearm armor and into the hands. Now in the hands, you still get that traditional four-way articulation from McFarlane. Pretty cool. A little bit of accent paint, and on the other side you have the same thing right next to these shoulder pauldrons. Now you could get them in a T-pose pretty easily. Can't really move up for same said shoulder pauldrons. They're kind of in the way. Now they are a little bit soft, and you could probably push it to get his arms more straight, but you don't really need to do that. Go ahead and move down to the thighs. He has a very generous thigh movement that's really interesting. You can even move the boot from side to side without having a thigh cut. Kicks up really high, kind of the splits action. And then you can kick back as well. Now this rubber does bend a little bit. You're able to get that full range backwards. And do not worry, when you put the leg back, the tin can booty does go back to its original shape. And you can cock out his knee. He has that McFarlane hip swivel. Double jointed knees. Straighten them out, up and down, but it is kind of restricted. right to left, also restricted because of this kind of armor that sticks out next to the ankle. Do have a rocker, still restricted though, and then you have toe articulation. Before we go, let's take a complete look at the lower body. Nice paint. The red really contrasts well and sticks out. I do notice that the one on the shin is like just completely painted a solid color, and then the other plates have a little bit of weathering to them. So gives it an interesting look. Now once again, this is why I'm telling you, do not get your hopes up, because McFarlane did not paint the pins that are supposed to be red here. Now I'll go ahead and paint them and show it to you the way it looks when they're painted, but you must have a metallic red. If you paint this with a regular paint red, it's not going to look right. So that's kind of disappointing, but like I said, don't expect that much and be ready to be kind of disappointed in other aspects, but it is what it is. It's just another action figure going into my collection. I'm fine with it. Take a look at it from the bottom. No tread, but he does have some identifying marks. Moving up the back. I love this like texture, like sculpted part that are on the back of the calves. It's really nice. Moving up. Another part I really like is the spine that they always add with McFarlane figures. I don't know why, but he always seems to add some kind of accent with the spines on the figure, which I actually enjoy. Taking a look at them from the back, there's a lot of cool sculpt work in here. I remember when these were released, on the regular toy aisle, that they were this one and the Hellbat. Of course I have my unmasked one here. Were just something that a big, bulky, sculpted out figure, and being in a small package was just something to look forward to from McFarlane. Now you do have the ports here where you can add in the wings. Those actually go in pretty smoothly. And as I said before, they are articulated. I started noticing that you can actually put these, they kind of look like a jet or something like that. So this figure kind of gives you a sort of manga, kind of robotic feel to it instead of armor, and that comes specifically from the wings and the head sculpt. So does finish it off and does look really good. Stands pretty simply, so happy with that. Let's go ahead and bring out the previously released versions. You do have the original Superman Unchained armor. Now this figure actually feels really nice. Just the plastic that it's made from and all the different tones of paint. You got some black, some metallic blue, some metallic red, some candy red, and even some silver. Really awesome figure. It looks like a kind of like a sports car paint job on this one. And I remember picking this one up and being pretty impressed with it. Then they went ahead and came out with this. I know people like to call it the ketchup and mustard version, but it is the energized version of this character. Kind of drab paint job. They did kind of forget to add a lot of the love that this one had, the original release, because he is missing a lot of black, and you could have had some silver just to give it some pizzazz. And I might even go in and repaint this one. He's not too hard to come by on the aftermarket. And I would just like to see how this energized one would look with a lot of the cool detail that this original version has. Now, of course, I also have my unmasked version, which I customized using a Superman 1000 head. Really like this one. He gets to hold his helmet, and I think I did do some heat vision effect to his eyes a long time ago. So it wasn't the best job, but it does, give it a cool feel. But, like these guys look great together. So if you're a completist as I am, it's not, too far out of the realm to want to pick up this figure to have them with these other ones displayed. But if it's not for you, then there's no problem. But you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.